Hey guys, welcome to Game Jammin. Today we are going to be testing Roadhog on the live server. For science, I'm going to go into competitive with the nerfed Roadhog, and we're going to see if we can find a way to make him viable. So I don't know how many games I'm going to get in, but hopefully 5 or 6, and then I'll be able to give you guys an opinion based off of playing competitive games as opposed to an opinion based off of messing around in the testing range. So that being said, did a little warm up just to get used to the fact that I now got 5 bullets and I now shoot a little bit faster, but we're gonna get right into it. So here we go, game number 1. So I'm starting right about 2700. So that's gonna be kind of my benchmark to see how I'm doing this for science. So my SR might tank here. But I think it's important to test it, and instead of going in with the notion that Roadhog's going to be terrible, recognize what's changed and see if I can adapt my play to match that. The other thing too is because I'm intending to hard pick Roadhog, we're going to have to see whether that bites me in the butt if a Reaper comes into play or if someone just does a really good job countering me. So my first match was on Numbani, and immediately when I come up to this choke up ahead, I'm going to run into a problem with shields. Now originally I thought, well, I'm shooting faster, so I should have no problem getting through shields. But sure enough, between Zarya's bubbles and Winston's shields, I could not break through. Now maybe it's not my job as a tank to push through this, but I felt definitely a little bit weaker trying to push through a choke like this. Now I did miss some hooks here. But I felt the weakness of the gun because even though I'm technically shooting faster and I've got another bullet in the chamber, I'm doing so much less damage. I actually have less DPS than I did before. So up here is the first recorded kill I had in competitive against a Winston. I felt pretty good with that. And you'll notice that I now have my charge set up, but once I get past here, I start having lots and lots of difficulty. Now, part of it is that I hadn't been playing Roadhog as much recently, and you'll notice here that I keep missing hooks, which is obviously really, really important. But my problem again is I'm going to push up here with a Reinhardt shield. Okay, alright, let's take this back. It was a nice ult combo there, Zarya comboing with the Hanzo. That was a good job. But luckily, we had the mercy to res us, right? So here's where I should be dominating. I miss a hook. I missed my hook. That happened. And unfortunately, Zarya does a great job of zoning me out. Every time I kept thinking that, oh, I'm going to make sure to get Zarya. You have to remember that it's now 2 shots to take down the shield, and I just ended up charging her up. Couldn't get anything done, and immediately get picked off. Fail.
I need to block bullets, not take them.
So the rest of that attack was an abysmal failure, and now here we are switching off to defense, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna hold strong with Roadhog and see what I can get done. But what ends up happening here is, just avert your eyes, you may not want to watch this. It is pretty bad. The enemy team runs in, and look at me trying to deal damage, missing lots of shots, and every time I think I'm getting something done, I either have a diva getting in my way, are you kidding? Defensive matrix or something else happening, we get steamrolled really, really badly. There was an attempt at last minute.
No, don't give it up. Don't give it up. Don't give it up. Come on.
He's not going to get the job done.
I'll make this fight a little bit faster.
So at the end of the first game, I felt pretty bad about Roadhog.
Maybe not.
Blah.
That's all I have to say about that. All right. My weapon accuracy was up. Hook accuracy was terrible. All right. Though in the beginning I was kind of whiffing my hooks. All right. So round 1 done. And the other thing to note is that my SR took a big nosedive, lost 26 points. All right. Round 2. So for the next round, we moved on to Nepal, and after a brief conversation with my team where I explained I was going to make the Roadhog work for us, they decided to try to help me out, and we had a really good first round. I was able to pick off a Roadhog here, and then I see the Reaper, and I'm like, no, I can take the Reaper. And sure enough, land a nice little hook. Got the damage done.
That
And you
felt
can
so
see that the hook
good.
was very, very effective in that first round. However, things quickly fell apart from here. When we have a Reaper who does actively counter the Roadhog, plus a Tracer that's being annoying, and a Pharaoh in the sky, it quickly found out that without the support of my teammates, I fell apart quickly. And here I go. There,
Yep,
there's my death.
Sorry, Anna.
Oh, jeez.
So the games didn't go too much better from here. You'll see me trying to hook a Tracer, not landing a kill. Of course, she escapes. Later on, sometimes the hook does work out when I had teammates helping, but then even when I get revived, when everybody should be able to help out here, Mercy healing a Reaper is enough to stop me dead in my tracks, which, to be fair, Reaper is the counter to Roadhog. It went so bad that even on the next round, I was trying to hook a Zenyatta here, and look at me. I'm going to hook the Zenyatta, have a perfect kill lined up, but it doesn't execute. Of course, he gets off his ult, and they're able to win the round. So finally, my teammates just said, you know what, switch to Rein, and I felt so bad, I was like, fine, I'm going to do it. And this will summarize my feelings right here. That pretty much sums it up, getting booped off a cliff there. So my SR did tank down to 2639, and we set up for round 3.
0-2. Not looking pretty. Not looking pretty.
So I learned from last game that sticking with my teammates was the best bet. So I set up for defense on Temple of Anubis, and you can see here that I was able to do a lot of good damage and even deal with a res that comes in from the enemy team. If I felt like I was playing pretty good, my hooks were on point, I was getting damage done, and even despite the fact that my damage is nerfed, I was still being effective for my team. So it felt pretty good to play it on this map. And what you'll notice here is that we are holding them for quite a long time. I force out an ult on Zenyatta, and even when they're pushing in, I'm able to deal effective damage while backing away, which is good enough to buy us almost the point. I even set up this cool combo here where I hook the Reinhardt into Hanzo's ult, which I thought was pretty cool. But unfortunately, I make a mistake here, try to go a little bit lone wolf, trying to buy some time since the timer's ticking down to 26 seconds. I run into 3 enemies, including a Mercy that's healing, and I get myself picked. Lone wolf definitely doesn't work, and I already knew that, but I made the mistake in the heat of the moment. And despite the fact that I get a revive here, it's not going to allow me to kill a Genji, and it's not going to allow me to save the point by myself. And unfortunately, the momentum is carried by the enemy team, and they are able to get the point. When we switched to attack, things went very well. We ended up capping the first point in about a minute and a half, and then we went on to the second point. And by being careful and staying behind cover, I felt I was actually doing an effective job again. Despite facing off characters that should deal with me fairly well, coordinating with my teammates ended up working out to my success. So you're going to see here I dive in, I got a soldier next to me with a nano, we take care of the McCree, which is really important. And what should have been a mistake by me because I didn't heal myself up, ends up being my benefit because I get the Mercy res, and we're able to clean up the point really quick and get a cap with 5 minutes and about 30 seconds at the end. So pretty good first round. However, despite having such a good round, what I end up finding is that in the second attack, the enemy team is able to push through and get 2 points on us. Despite my best efforts, I'm not able to hold. And even on the final attack wave, when we're attacking in, there's a soldier ulting in front of me, and I can do nothing about it. We're still getting the reses that are trying to be helpful. I'm still dealing damage where I can, but it's not enough, and I end up going down without getting a tie or a win. So 0-3 I go.
Yo, Henry, you're fucking trash.
When you're looking at the stats screen, though, it doesn't feel like I performed that bad. The eliminations to deaths ratio is probably not the greatest, but you can see I'm getting medals, which, again, medals are not everything, but I felt pretty good about having the silver medals telling me that I was dealing damage. And remember that the stat is now a hero damage dealt, so I was dealing damage to heroes, or at least contributing to the team somehow. So after going 0-3, my next match was on Hollywood, and I'm not going to go through the details of the whole match. I'm just going to say that we did get within 8 meters of the enemy team, so we did put up a pretty good fight, but in the end it wasn't enough. Despite working on my team as best I could, we could put up a solid defense, but I felt my ability to contribute to the attack was lacking. You'll notice here that my eliminations are low, and despite having gold on objective kills, that is not really enough of a contribution to the team, and I was failing in other areas. And when you have an enemy team that's focused on a Genji and a Diva and a Winston, it's a very difficult on certain maps for Roadhog to contribute. My 5th match was on Dorado, and I felt that was actually a pretty great game because we were able to push the objective all the way to the end. However, again, this is one of those sad heartbreaker games in overtime. With an enemy comp that was focused on shields, my Roadhog was just not contributing enough damage to get through and get any more time on the payload. So despite my best efforts, I was not able to get it done. What I found out again was the right enemy comp was having a fairly easy time dealing with the Roadhog in certain situations. Shields were definitely an issue for me, especially since that means that the hook, which is the primary part of my kit, was doing no good. Now, I did get to play the game here, which, you know, that's a little bonus to get because it got some help from the Ana. But you'll notice here that that's with the full support of my team. I've got a Diva behind me blocking, Ana giving me the nano boost. So even when I make a mistake like that, they're helping to contribute. But not enough. Not enough. And my SR was tanking once again. So here's the final game that I played for the night. And I'm going to leave it playing in the background, but let me talk about the issues that I encountered while playing this match, and then we'll summarize what happened with the final game and whether I was able to keep platinum or not. So what was important to note about Roadhog is that his hook was still effective of getting work done. If you timed it right, you had team coordination, the hook is still a great tool and it has not become any less effective. You know, even if I mess up like that, but it's still a great tool. But the theme that was constantly happening today was that when I was working with a team, Roadhog felt alright. When I was not working with a team or I did not have support, Roadhog felt like a really, really poor choice. Can he lone hawk, go around getting kills? Definitely not anymore. Can he still contribute to a team? Yes, he can. However, I feel that in many situations there is likely a better choice. One of the biggest deals that I find is that despite having 600 HP, he still feels pretty darn squishy. If an enemy team has a Zenyatta, or if there is a lot of focus fire, the 600 HP goes away real quick. And on top of that, you're not going to be escaping very easily. So what I found was best was either hiding behind a Reinhardt shield if it was there, or getting into positions where I was pretty far away from enemy teams. My ability to contribute to damage when spamming into a joke doesn't feel too diminished, but I felt a lot of times I was really not that scary to the enemy team and they could continue to put pressure on the Reinhardt shield while I was shooting through, where before I think enemy teams were scared enough that they would just stay and back away. So Roadhog was able to get work done. It just felt difficult. So now let's see the conclusion of this match. So we're attacking on Hanamura. It's down to the final 30 seconds, and here we are pushing in, capping the point. We're at 60-75% almost, and it looks like we've got a nice solid hold here. And we see the soldiers ulting, but we got the Zenyatta ult backing us up, so I'm just dealing damage left and right, doing things here and there, and then everything falls apart. 10 seconds left. Can Mercy save us? Can anybody save us? Mercy? Mercy? Where are you? Nope. Can't save us. This is my feelings and thoughts about Roadhog. in comp. There he is, jumping off a cliff. It was very, very tough to get Roadhog to work. So, despite my best efforts, I did end up going 0-6. You'll see here that I think I did end up contributing good stats. So, looking at the stats, I mean, it looks pretty decent. But my feeling in the game was that I felt more like a liability than a benefit to my team in a fair amount of situations. It doesn't mean that I wasn't contributing at all. It just feels like it was difficult for me to contribute. And there you see it. I did again end up tanking into gold range. Though I'm lucky I still get to keep the platinum badge. I don't know if I deserve it anymore, however. So those are my final thoughts. Do I really think Roadhog is dead? Roadhog's not dead. Do I think Roadhog's in a really difficult situation right now? I think he absolutely is. You will see more McCrees and Reapers running right now because they did get a buff. Even if it's a slight buff, whatever you want to call it. And so because of that, it's going to be difficult for Roadhogs right now. Can you still get work done? Yes. And I'll keep saying it. Yes, you can. However, it's going to be a tough uphill battle for you. So thanks very much for watching. That is the end of this myth testing video. If you have any questions or comments, let me know down below, and I'll be happy to answer any of the questions that you have. If you like this video or you want to see more content like this, let me know. Give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. And I will see you guys all in the next video.